Welcome to this early portion of the commission meeting for the purpose of swearing in our newly elected commissioners. Only one, though, because one took a trip to go to New York, but I believe Her Honor, Ms. Pageant, has already sworn in Trey Allen. So we're here tonight for the swearing in, and congratulations for the reelection of Gabriel Richardson for his first full term, which means you have this one and one more under the term limits. If you decide to make it that far, we hope you do. But also, congratulations are in order to the judge. I think you were reelected without opposition, as well as several of our constitutional officers. So all of them, which speaks very highly of them. I've never had that pleasure of not having an opponent. So that maybe tell you something. Maybe that tells you something too. At this time, we'll turn it over to Judge Pageant for whatever proceedings she sees fit.
Oh, yes. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Gary Richardson, do swear or affirm that I will well and truly discharge the duties of Commissioner for Columbia County in all matters which require my official action to the best of my knowledge and skill. And I will so act as in my judgment will be most conducive to the welfare and best interest of the entire county. I have been a resident thereof for the time required by the Constitution and laws of this state. I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision or authority thereof. That I am not the holder of any office of trust under the government of the United States, any other state, or any foreign state, which I am prohibited from holding by the laws of the state of Georgia, that I am otherwise qualified to hold said office according to the Constitution of the United States and laws of Georgia, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
John Paul.
I do too. All right, I need your signature. You're very welcome.
I don't think so. I would like to take a second, if you don't mind. I just want to say to the citizens of Columbia County, I consider this seat and being able to serve and represent this county a true honor. The last year has been very special to me, and I am looking very forward to the next 4 years with what all we have going on in Columbia County. This is a great place to be. We have a tremendous staff. We have a fantastic group of commissioners, and I am honored to be a part of that and look forward to serving each and every person in Columbia County. Thank you.
This concludes this part of our meeting. We'll commence the commission meeting in 9 minutes. Thank you for being here.
Pretty guy's name. I gotta speak.
To call this meeting of the Columbia County Board of Commissioners to order for this Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2017, start of a new year. This time I'd like to ask our newly sworn-in commissioner, Mr. Gay Richardson, to offer up our invocation.
Let's pray. Father God, we come to you, and Lord, I thank you and praise you for who you are and for this wonderful county that we live in. Lord, thank you for the many blessings you bestowed on us, and Lord, may we honor you for those. Lord, we just ask you to protect all the staff that works with the county and all they do. Lord, we ask you to lead us as we make decisions, and may you give us the wisdom to make the best decisions that affect all of Columbia County. Lord, I lift up the men and women that are in harm's way to protect us and to keep us the freedoms that we have to meet in this way. And all these things I pray in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, Republic,
A nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
We do have a quorum here tonight, with the exception, full house, with the exception of Commissioner Allen, who, as I mentioned earlier, is on a family trip to New York. Our first order of business, as always, is approval of the minutes of our previous meeting of December the 20th. If you're satisfied with their content, we'll accept a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any items needing any clarification? If not, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Mr. Johnson, I believe we have a request to speak under presentations, and I believe we would like to have an executive session or a brief personnel update. Is there any other changes that you're aware of?
That would be my only two suggestions, Mr. Chairman, for your approval.
Thank you, and we'll proceed with the agenda as updated. Then our first order of business, as always, the first meeting of the year, is the election of the vice chair. At this time, the floor is open for nominations for vice chair of the Columbia County Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for Commissioner Duncan to serve as vice chair.
Okay. Do we have other nominations? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the nominations to be closed? Do we have a second to that nomination?
Second.
For that question? I guess we will assume that Mr. Duncan is elected unanimously on the Board of Commissioners. Congratulations, our condolences.
You didn't ask me if I wanted to do it.
No, it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
3 people want you to do it.
Should I abstain?
Huh?
Should I abstain from voting?
No, not necessary. All in favor? Okay. Again, congratulations. Welcome to this meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Remind you again that these proceedings are videotaped. If you'd like a copy, you may obtain one through making contact with our clerk of court here. Also remind you that will be seen on the county website within 2 or 3 days. And also remind you that you're invited to speak to this body. If you're not already mentioned, we do ask that you fill out a speaker form in the back, bring it up to Ms. Crawley here, and we will recognize you at the proper time during the meeting. Before we get to our special recognitions, I would just like to say that there's been a lot of talk about year 2016, Mr. Johnson, about how rough it was and how bad it is and how people are looking forward to 2017, but I think 2016 was an exceptionally good year for Columbia County. What do you think?
It was an exceptionally good year for our county, Mr. Chairman. We had some really big highlights. And if I start naming them, I'm going to miss out, but we won several awards as a community. I know that our ISO rating was definitely a county-wide effort, and that's going to be a big thing for us. The passing of a general obligation bond that will prepare us for some projects going forward. So I think 16 was an exceptional year to get us prepared, but only looking for better things in 17 and beyond.
I noticed our retiring fire chief is here. He can't get out of the habit or what?
I'm glad to see him.
Welcome. You think that'll take a couple of years, chief? Oh. Well, you're always welcome at the commission meeting. Special recognitions, Employee and Team of the Year. This is a great honor to be selected for the Individual Employee of the Year for 2016. The honor goes to Paula Sutphin with Human Resources. Commissioner Duncan will make that presentation.
Paul, I understand that you've been with the county since 2006. Our department.
What can I say about this lady here? Absolutely amazing. Our department, and not only that, to Columbia. Great job with them. Always does it cheerfully and work very, very hard. Quite a bit of certification. Real proud of what she's done. Certified with SHRM as a certified professional, and she's workers' compensation. So, she's always working real hard to make sure that what we need in our department.
I would like to say thank you, though, to everyone.
Congratulations. Hey, come. An umbrella, too.
Couple of days late.
$100, but the government gets their part, sorry.
No,
Congratulations.
I think this one, Commissioner Duncan, gets $250.
Yes, 250.
50, whoa now.
250.
100. Set me up. They get the same thing?
We now recognize the 2016 Team of the Year, the Fleet Fire Services. That's why the chief is here, I bet.
Yeah, there we go.
Congratulations to you folks again.
Come on up, Chief. Hear me? Oh, come on up. Didn't I just see you guys like last month?
Deja vu.
Seems like it. Come on up. Congratulations. Well, we just awarded the team of the quarter, wasn't it? You guys are running away with all the awards. This is the fire fleet personnel, the guys who keep the fire trucks and all the emergency equipment running. And I'm not going to steal the thunder. I want the chief to speak. So can you talk about this team?
I can. This team right here, as big as our county is, and covering almost 300 square miles, there's always a problem. These guys are just like firefighters. They're not 8 to 5 workers. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I just can't remember how many times I've had to call Paul. I didn't know who was on call, so I'd call Paul and he'd take care of it. And I can tell you how the conversation would go. It'd be Saturday, or it'd be Sunday, or it'd be in the middle of the night, or it'd be on a holiday. I'd call Paul and he'd say, "What's up?" I'd be like, "Paul, I hate to tell you this, but the problem always got taken care of." These guys, they go beyond what they should do. They're great.
Just thank you, guys. I look forward to everything we do in the future and appreciate everything that you do. You're so dedicated, and that's an excellent example to the rest of us. And thank you.
This isn't working. Maybe you can fix it. We appreciate all you guys do. We really do. Thank you so very much. And I understand you get $250.
They get 50 each.
I get 50 each of this group.
I don't know what you get, but you're getting something. That's all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Don't forget your umbrella.
Get an umbrella. An umbrella, please.
Umbrella and a day off. Now I have a presentation from Mr. Robert Wiley concerning a fence ordinance. Mr. Wiley? Give us your name and address, please.
Robert Wiley, 905 Big Oak Circle in Rhodes Farm. Little history, when I moved my business from one county location to another on Wheeler Road, it took about a month to get a permit. Nobody would tell me what all I needed to have to do the renovations. Finally, I'm an electrical contractor, so got an electrical permit. Wife come up here to get it, and they said, oh, you got a stop work order on this business because you started without a permit. Well, you know, we tried for a month to figure out what we needed. It fell on deaf ear. So then got all that sorted out, moved into the business, got a CO, got the fire marshal inspection, everything good. Got to move the occupational tax license. Called up here to do it, and they said, oh, zoning's got that held up. Okay, now what do we do? Call zoning. Your building's 55 foot too close to the center line of the road. You don't have any landscaping, you don't have enough parking. So this is after I got a permit. Nobody contacted the zoning. So there's a breakdown there between the departments. I don't know I'm supposed to call zoning. So a year later, we go to get a fence and a cooking area. No big thing. Come up here, get a drawing done up, go to the county. Zoning called me up, said, how tall is this fence? It was 4 foot tall. Got it approved through HOA, everything else. Oh, that doesn't meet zoning requirements. It can only be 2.5 foot tall. So a 2.5 foot tall fence is a tripping hazard, if anything. It doesn't make any sense why it's 2.5 foot tall. Nobody, when I met out there with two zoning people, and Mr. Scarberry and Kevin Fort, all four of them couldn't give me an explanation of why it was 2.5 foot tall. Even they said it didn't make any sense. So that was almost 3 months ago. Talked to Mr. Duncan, talked to Bill Boatman at Maybaum. Nothing's been done. They said they were going to get it rewrote. Everything's going to be good. There's two properties that I can see from my porch that has a 4 foot tall fence on a corner lot with a alleyway behind it. So my question to y'all tonight is, what's going to happen? Are we going to rewrite it? And if we are going to rewrite it, it's going to be 4 foot. And if we're not going to rewrite it, what's going to happen to the people that have a 4 foot tall fence? Because if it's going to get rewrote, I'm going to go ahead and start building. And if it's not going to get rewrote, then I'm going to see demolition of some fences in our neighborhood.
This fence is this in the front yard, side yard, or backyard?
Side yard.
Is where?
Side yard.
Side yard.
Corner lot.
What is our situation on that, on this particular ordinance?
Going through a couple of options. Wiley is in favor of changing the ordinance, allow these fences. Half together.
But where do we stand with putting something together? Or am I perceiving nothing's been put together?
Nothing concrete's been put together yet because we haven't decided, allow the fences or allow them at a different height. I foresee something happening within.
Well,
Still got to go before.
but if this is something you decided we want to do or not, as far as the staff goes?
I think it makes a lot of sense to allow fences, especially in side yards like this. Height. So I guess yes, it is.
And do we have some fences out there that's non-compliant right now?
Current ordinance, we do.
Or they were just done on their own, or what?
You don't have to get a permit for a fence, as long as it's under 7 foot. So that's another thing. When I go up there, the only reason with the zoning is because I have no idea why I went to zoning. But they stopped it because of the fence. But I can come up here and build it. I don't have to get a permit. So you can't come by and say, oh, you're building a fence without a permit, because y'all don't require a permit for a fence.
I would just counsel that you can't say that an ordinance will be passed. I mean, say that we'll look into it, and we're generally in favor of it, but we can't give assurances the ordinance will be passed before it's passed.
That being said, then regardless of which way it goes, what happens, if it goes to where it's not going to be changed, what happens to the fences that are there now?
They'd apply for a variance, wouldn't they?
Apply for a variance, depends on how long they were there, when the,
I believe code enforcement's already visited those property owners, let them know they're in violation of county code, Mr. Scarborough.
That's correct. We've gone out to those. They need to request. Planning commission.
Why couldn't Mr. Wiley request a variance?
He can.
Huh?
He can.
My problem is, why, if there's numerous properties that don't meet this variance, why does it have to be an individual person requesting a variance? If there's numerous properties in the county, which you stated that there was, shouldn't it be everybody request this variance and get it changed instead of individuals coming up here and paying their $300 and taking up y'all's time for each individual variance?
Well, I suppose it's going to depend on the public hearing we'll have to change the ordinance as to what the majority of the people feel. We're not assured at this point in time that the majority of the people would support changing the height requirement.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the position we're in.
Still, my one question is, as a code enforcement, if they don't meet that variance, tear the fence down or knock it down to 2.5 foot?
Well, they'd be cited.
They'll be cited and go through the judicial process, so they'll be in non-compliance, and they'll have to go in front of the judge. And then the judge will decide what's going to happen then. It could be a fine every day until it's brought into compliance. It could be nothing. It'd be up to the judge. So anybody that's in non-compliance is going to face the same thing.
All right, so that being said, do I need to apply for an individual variance, or we're going to do it as a group variance, or what are we doing moving forward? Because it's been it's almost 3 months and nothing's moved forward. So if I need to apply for a variance, which I really don't want to because I set in one for my business, I apologize, but it was a complete 2.5 hours wasted of my life.
Well, you could have applied for an
I'm sorry.
variance. You could have applied for an variance 3 months ago, couldn't you? Couldn't he have?
Correct.
But my problem was if there's people already not in compliant, what happens to them as well? That's why we're going to the same thing. And at the time, 3 months ago, there was talks about rewriting it. So I don't want to pay $300 to apply for a variance on something that's supposedly being rewrote.
Well, I think the variance is more than $300.
Or $650. That's even worse, then.
If there's anybody out there that non-compliant,
So I still haven't gotten
Mr.
a question.
Wiley's been kind of let us know a couple next door to him that following up on.
Yeah, I still haven't got an answer on,
There's not going to be a group variance if that's your question.
Do I know?
There's not a group variance if that's your
Well,
question.
are we rewriting it? I mean, do I need to file for a variance for something that's getting rewrote? Or is it not going to get
Well,
rewrote?
there's no guarantee.
Which is quicker? Which is
Yeah,
quicker
exactly.
for him?
Variance is
Which is
quicker.
quicker?
Variance is
Variance is quicker.
Okay.
But again, the commission's got to approve it. There's no guarantee.
Huh?
Ordinance rewrite. No
But if-
guarantee that the ordinance could be changed in language that you would agree.
Okay.
Couple options.
But if mine doesn't get approved, the other two in the neighborhood and the other 4 in the neighborhood, they're not going to get approved.
It's hard to say without knowing the details.
Okay.
Now, we can't predict what might happen after it goes through the process of being rewritten or after the public hearings, or what the legal community will do if they're cited and don't make any corrections. Because they go to magistrate court and then it's out of our hands. In a situation like this, it's up to us to cite the violation, but then it goes to the legal system.
Okay. So I'll come here tomorrow and file for variance the fastest way.
But at this point in time, I'd say it's probably the only way.
Yeah, because it ain't moved for almost 3 months, so.
Well, I'm kind of in question, why didn't you file a variance in the beginning?
Because I was told they were going to be rewriting it. Is that not true?
Told you we were looking at that, Robert, and we also told you.
And not y'all, Bill Boatman, which is the director or whatever, said that they were looking into rewriting and everything. That's why I didn't. If the ball is already in play, why do I need to go spend $650 for something that the ball's already in play?
Certainly.
Seconds were the background of the reason why side yards have 4 foot fences is because just about every set of covenants I've ever seen that addresses fences in the side yard calls for them to go from 6 feet, which is the norm in a rear yard, to 4 feet in side yards. I don't know how many neighborhoods we develop, but the way we do covenants, take them from one neighbor to the next, and we make changes as it might apply. Everyone I've ever seen out, there's some ordinance somewhere that says that fences can only be 30 inches in a side yard. Totally surprised, never heard of it before. I don't want to start pointing subdivisions, but I could show you 50 tomorrow that would be compliance out of side yards. So that's when I came up and spoke to some people in the county, and I thought about everybody agreed. Probably the most common sense thing to do was to look at making a change in the ordinance. That's where it got left at that point in time. Yes, and I did. Most common sense that was that they should take a look at ordinance. Unfortunately, your time frame's not the same.
But let me say this, not everybody's in favor of this. I've got a subdivision right now that's jumping up and down that does not want this change.
Well, I think that's the issue.
It's not just because he thinks it's what needs to happen, that it's going to happen.
But you got a subdivision that wants side yard fences not to be,
right,
instead of being 30 inches, to go to 4 feet.
And the setback of how far it needs to set back. And
Not addressing setback, just.
well, I think as you set back, it goes up in height.
Correct. I think our biggest issue is these are side yards that are abutting a street.
Right.
Not side yards between two houses. That's a totally different issue. So there is an issue from a traffic standpoint.
It's a side yard that's on a corner.
Correct.
Period, yeah.
So there's where you have an issue with
That's the only one, that's.
side triangles.
And if he wants to back his fence up, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he can be the height he wants to be, but it's going to be farther back in his yard than he wants to be.
It's going to be 10 foot off the house.
There you go.
Kind of senseless on fence.
Well, that's great. Those people want to be closer.
I understand.
But anyway, that's the issue. Say that it's been in these covenants for years. Nobody knew about it. That first time, when he told them there were violations, our phone started ringing. That's kind of the history.
Well, as far as staff's concerned, I'd say you make your decision if the ordinance should be revised and prepare whatever it is, and we'll start the process of doing that. If there's no interest in doing that, then that's the way it is, but you always have the option of requesting a variance on an individual situation. And I assume all of these variances are taken on an individual situation and not as a
That's correct.
a group or a class action or whatever.
Correct.
So I think in your case, the only option currently, I don't know your timing, would be to go ahead and file the variance and move from there.
Okay. All right. Appreciate y'all's time.
I believe this is the first time in quite a while we don't have a consent agenda. We're directed to our debate agenda. I believe the person that's now gets to do the majority of the reading is the new chair of the Development and Engineering Services Committee, Commissioner Richardson.
Commissioner Duncan has the first one.
One before that.
All right, where did I get? Board appointments, sorry. Commissioner Duncan. Vice Chair Duncan.
I make a motion to reappoint and appoint the members to appropriate boards and committees as presented.
As presented means the list of people that's on the various boards of the county. And just as a note of interest, if you have any interest in serving on a county board, we would like to have your information and call that you're willing to serve in some capacity, and we'll look as we have openings. Any further discussion on these appointments? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. Now we go to Commissioner Richardson.
I make a motion to approve the rezoning located at 1218 Miles Road from S1 to RA.
I believe this is a situation of a personal care home that's closed, and now they want to build a house there.
Correct.
Further discussion? All in favor?
I make a motion to approve the rezoning located within the Evans to Locks Furious Ferry Node Protection Overlay District off of Tanner Court in the northwest corner of the intersection of Furious Ferry Road and Evans to Lock Road from C1 to CC, subject to the conditions enumerated in the December 15th, 2016 Planning Commission report.
Well, all future candidates, you're losing a real good political sign location on that corner. But in the
I'll
future,
take all the donuts you can eat.
that's right, in the future, we'll have a Dunkin' Donuts. So, any further comments? All in favor? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the variance to section 90-147, use provisions for tax map 078, parcel 058E, located off Tanner Court, subject to the condition enumerated in the December 15th, 2016 Planning Commission report.
Second.
And this is pertaining to that same location. All in favor?
I make a motion to approve the variance to section 90-147, use provisions for tax map 061A, parcel 059, located at 417 Lewiston Road, subject to the condition enumerated in the December 15th Planning Commission report.
I believe this is to allow provision for a drive-in window on another Dunkin' Donut.
That's correct, sir.
With some restriction.
That's correct. Yeah, the spacing doesn't quite meet our requirements, so this will require them to put a 8-foot tall fence and a tree canopy, some additional items above and beyond what would be required.
Further comments or questions?
No relation. Dunkin' Donuts.
That's too bad.
They're gonna do.
All in favor? Okay. The next item is to complete a appeal request from Mr. Bo Slaughter with James G. Swift and Associates. Gentlemen, we've heard from Mr. Slaughter at the previous meeting. We've had some discussion on this, and we'll listen now to what recommendations you have pertaining to these items. I believe there were 3 items in question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, I'd like to, do I need to make this in the form of a motion, or is it conversation, or how do we need to do this?
You can do it either way. You can have a discussion and make a motion, or you can make a motion. If we get a second, then we'll have a discussion.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to, on item number 1, which is the review that came in first, and then we changed the ordinance. I make a motion to just charge the resubmission fee, and I believe that's $250. And on item number 2, which is over at Health Quest, I make a motion to waive that fee due to, I think, some miscommunication from one of the staff reviewers and Swift and Associates. And on item number 3, I'll just leave this, the fee to be charged.
Then we have a motion to issue a $750 credit on item number 1 of our previous discussion, and to waive the $1,000 fee on item number 2. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any further discussion of this? Mr. Slaughter, you have any additional comments at this time? No further discussion? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. Staff, you understand what we did here and what to take place now?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any additional requests to speak? Mr. Driver, I see no legal matters.
No legal matters tonight.
Do we have any commissioner comments before we adjourn briefly? We do have one personnel item to discuss in executive session. Accept a motion to adjourn briefly for executive session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? We are briefly adjourned.
trail.
Must be some really bored people out there. They hang around. Call the meeting back to order. Mr. Driver, would you give us an update on our executive session, please, sir?
Yes, we had one personnel matter discussed. There was no action taken, and there's nothing further to report.
I'd like to thank those that stayed, Mrs. Kennedy and Mrs. Cross and the fire department people, chief. I would think you'd have somewhere to go now that you're going to be retired sooner or later.
Talk to Scott, he's good, he's
Seems
all.
like I was going around, Scott.
Pages, I don't know. I have not been kissing the fire chief. Part that rumor.
Is there any other business to come before this meeting of the commission? If not, we'll accept other direction.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor? We are adjourned.
He left. His son had to be here for a badge.
I just figured, I'm gonna be in mediation all day tomorrow.